This is a small selection of some of the jobs I've done this week. This is a removal, this one, and as you can see underneath, it's a real tangled bird's nest of a job here. It looks two, but it's actually one. Someone in the past has bent the branch down and it's rerouted into the ground. What I did is I tackled it from underneath to start with, sort of untangle it as it goes, then they drop. And I cut a lot of the snags off while I was there as well. It's an old couple. He wanted to keep all the wood for his fire. So what I did, as I cut it down, I just cut all the bits small instead of chomping them up on the ground for him. It's been a really hectic week this week. I've got work coming at me ear rolls at the moment. But when I did this job, as you can see, the sun was out. I was actually in my shirt sleeves, and it wasn't a breath of wind, and it was a lovely, lovely day. It actually felt very much like spring, which I'm ready for now. I'm fed up being cold. I'm mostly sort of dissecting the top, sort of prepping it all at the same time for the chipper. You could just chomp a big branch off, chuck it on the ground and do it on the ground, but then you risk the chain hitting the ground and getting dirt and blowing it up, so it just seemed easier this way. I had a phone call beginning of the week. A chap's got a large beech hedge he wants cutting. He told me it was 40 feet long and it's about 7 feet high. So we all know it's going to be big on that. But something I've been doing of lately is, certainly when they're like front hedges, what I do, sort of pre-arm yourself, go on Google Maps, put the address in, go on Google Maps and look at Street View. And it certainly does. It helps you can see it, even though perhaps the photo is 2-3 years old. You certainly can see a length of a hedge if it's a mature hedge, not necessarily the size because they can grow quick, but it can pre-warn you, and I found that actually quite a useful tool. So it's always worth having a go if you've never tried it. I always sharpen all my chains myself, and always by hand. I don't use a gauge or anything, just my glasses on, clamp in the vise and take my time. And this particular chain I'd sharpened at the weekend, first time I'd used it this week, and yeah, it was cutting like a knife through butter. I was really pleased with it. But where it grows along the ground at the bottom there, that bit of conifer's been tied in, I didn't realise there's a big chunk of rusty old fence wire they'd used to tie it down, and I hit that, and I was a bit cheesed off. So the file's got to be back out again. But that's one of them things, I suppose. It's all cut as far as I can now, more or less, with the pruner, and I'm just taking a few snags off it, sort of clean it up, ready to start slicing it, and you know, just getting bits out of the way, bits you can catch. And there it is, all done. There's the heap ready to chuck through the chipper, and there's the trunk sliced and diced. I tried to cut it best I could. That the whole couple hadn't got smashed too much up. All the knotty bits I'd cut through as well. Right, this is a another job I did. You can't really tell from the angle on here, but the branch I'm cutting there is actually completely snapped at the top. It's just hanging on by sort of an inch. So basically I sort of removed this entire branch. Used the pole pruner again. This is a typical domestic tree. Someone, some point in the past, has just chopped it straight across the top. It's a mess. It's again, this is just covered in snags, and it's not been cut back to collars or anything. So it's a shame. But it's what happens, I suppose. I had to go to Wickes this morning, get some bits and pieces for the week ahead. And being a Sunday, it don't open till 10, and I was there at 10 to 10, so I sat there waiting, and a car pulled up next to me. And the chap got out and asked me for a card. So I said, yeah, I'll give him a card. And he's got a couple of trees need pruning, which I said I'd happily come and have a look. And a long story anyway. I know a lot of you fellas out there are big into steel, and the chap was saying he's got a shed load of steel stuff, but he don't like using them and don't want to do it. So actually on the video at this point I've actually got 2 extensions in. I just thought I'd mention that to give me a good reach. Anyway, he says he's got loads of steel in his shed and he don't use them. And I said, oh, you like your toys? And he said actually goes with his job. So I said, oh, what, you like work for a dealership or something? He said, no. He said he actually works with steel, but he's the UK head of sales. He said he's the top man in the country for the sales side of steel. I think he said he's got about 40 people underneath him. So you know, if you're a steel man, I think you might like to have had a chat with him. But so like I say, I've got to look at his trees now and cut them for him. So even Sunday morning, people keep coming up to me and asking me for work, for do jobs and work for them. So as you can see, with the 2 extensions, you get some really good reach on it, and you know, it saves the ladder. And bear in mind, these are sort of 4-inch bits that I was cutting out of that, and there's only 25cc, so the little machine does well. Right, this is a different job. Basically, pollard this birch, which I'm not keen on doing. I think birches, you either leave them alone or you cut them down, one or the other. But it's what the customer wanted, so if I don't do it, they'll get somebody else. So at least I'll try to be perhaps a bit more sympathetic to the tree than perhaps some others maybe. So, and it's also a prime example. Sometimes you got to do jobs you don't necessarily want to do. You know, they're right or they're wrong. You know, it's. But at the end of the day, you got to pay the bills, and if you don't do it, somebody else will. So, you know, the only thing you can do is try and advise the customer. You know, sort of say, you know, we'll leave it until a more appropriate time, a year, There was 4 trees I had to cut in this garden, and one of them was a cherry. And I did say to the chap, you know, ideally we want to leave the cherry until the summer, as it's a summer prune, and they're very prone to silverleaf if you cut them in the winter. And he didn't really want that. He wanted it cut now, sort of thing. So I had to do that. So as I say, you know, you know yourself sometimes things are wrong when you do them, but if you don't, somebody else is going to. So perhaps, you know, it's to a certain extent, you know, you can at least put a little bit more effort into it than perhaps somebody else. And there it is, all done. I left some decent growth points on it, but the tree has got a lot of rot inside it as well. To be honest with you, if it was in my garden, I would have cut that down to the ground. But there you go. And there's the cherry tree you want to cut. So again, cherries, unless the tree's been a problem, I wouldn't advise anyone to even prune a cherry. They just look rubbish afterwards. No matter how good you try and prune them, they just never look right. And there's the very last one I've got to do. And very last cut, pruning saw bit my knuckle. Sod's law. Luckily I had some thick gloves on. And there's all the waste. There's the last one after pruning. And it was just a matter of chipping it up then and getting paid and getting on to the next job. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you.